What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. You know I got another banger for y'all today with the rest of the Sweet 16 games starting up today. Come on now, kick back, relax, and come take a ride with your boy. They the champs today ain't the champs no more. LSU continues to quiet the noise, silence the haters, survive and advance. They beat UCLA today in a barn burner, y'all. This was a dogfight. Both teams going blow for blow. This was the game that we needed. This is the game that we wanted. And it did not disappoint. On top of that, I'm not going to let it overshadow LSU's very impressive victory today in just a brutal game. But the Washington Post article, the profile on Kim Mulkey did drop today as well, just hours before tip of this matchup. So we're going to look at that. I just want to go out and say there isn't too much new information in this article, but we'll talk about some of the quotes that really caught my attention. But before we get into all that, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. And join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
I know I've impacted so many different people. Young black girls that look up in New York City, like you said, and see Angel Reese, like, I know I can, they know they can do this. They know they can be in this position one day. And it's crazy, it's full circle. It's almost a year since everything has transpired and our life has changed. Since the national championship, we ain't had peace. And it's crazy to say that we won at the highest level in college and we haven't had peace, but I wouldn't want to change this day. I wouldn't want to change where we are right now. I wouldn't want to change the 3 letters across my chest because it means something. And I want to be a part of history. I want to be a part of this culture, this sisterhood, and just keep winning and winning and winning. And we look back in 40 years, and when we're old and sitting in our rocking chair, like Coach Mulkey always say, and just be like, we did that. Like, we made history. Like, we were part of that, and we were trailblazers.
LSU showed the heart of a champion, closing UCLA out on a 14-2 run in the fourth quarter, making all their free throws. Flau'Jae was sensational. It most definitely was her fault. She was the best player on the floor for LSU. She was the best player on the floor in this entire game. Shout out Lauren Betts, Kiki Rice. Man, it was just a game of stars. The lights were on, and they performed. Kim Mulkey and LSU took the dub 78-69. Looking at the team breakdown on both sides, LSU shot an impressive 45.6% from the field. Only took 5 3-pointers. They nailed 2 of them. UCLA, it was a slow shooting night for them in the first half. They could not hit nothing. They couldn't throw a beach ball into the ocean. They finished the day shooting 36.2% from the field. Also, looking at it, they nailed 7 3-pointers. In the second half, London Johnson, Charisma Osborne, Gabriela Jaquez, like, things started falling for them. LSU dominates the free throw side of things, 22-29. They shot 29 free throws compared to UCLA's 18. They shoot 75.9% from the field. Now, this we knew was going to be a dominant, just ferocious battle on the glass. Both teams 40-plus total rebounds. UCLA won that, though, +4 in that department, racking up 45 rebounds compared to LSU's 41. Some serious size on both squads. 15 assists for UCLA as well. 4 blocks for both sides. LSU, though, 11 steals, forcing 19 turnovers, and we know they are one of the most dangerous teams in transition. They get out quick, fill those running lanes, and attack the basket at will. They also drew 24 fouls in this contest. Kiki Rice, we saw the point guard for UCLA, ended up fouling out of this game late. But looking at it for UCLA side of things, they had 4 double-figure scores, very balanced attack. Lauren Betts led the way, 3 blocks, 14 points, 3 assists, 16 rebounds. And when they ran the offense through her, really good things happened. She was finding open shooters. She really should have had like 10 assists. She could have easily had a triple-double in this game. She did leave a couple free throws at the line, but Betts was sensational in her own right. So shout out to her, putting in work. Kiki Rice, the floor general for UCLA, doing a little bit of everything. 13 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds for her. And we did mention she fouled out of this game late, but she had a really good game, very productive. She was very aggressive, getting those paint touches, had a big and one late. London Jones, another sophomore on this team. They're going to be loaded next year, too, with Betts, Rice, and Jones. But Jones finished with 14 points. She hit 3 tray balls back to back to back to give UCLA the lead, man. They were down double digits at one point, and Jones finally, she hit one going into the half and then came out firing in the second half. So big game from her. Charisma Osborne, the unquestioned leader, fifth-year senior of this group, 8 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds for her. And she was everywhere on the defensive side too, man. Just fighting through, trying to contain these guards of LSU, man, who were sensational. We got to talk about Flau'Jae Johnson again. 24 points, 1 assist, 11 rebounds. She came up with some crucial rebounds, some crucial blocks on that end, some crucial buckets late when this game felt like it was slipping away from LSU, man. Johnson was attacking the cup and finishing over the trees, man. She is just fearless getting into the paint, and she's just been sensational since this tournament started. She's putting in the work. She's been rewarded for it. She knows what it takes to be a champion, and she's grown up really quick in her sophomore year. Also taking on the responsibility of being the top perimeter defender for this group. Michaela Williams really hit some big shots down the stretch for this group. A mid-range game, her and Flau'Jae were just taking what UCLA was giving off the screens. When they were sagging, hey, they was pulling up and the mid-range was falling. So big 12 points for her. Looking fearless out there, just playing years ahead of her time. Angel Reese, Anissa Morrow held down the paint. Reese, another double-double, 16 points, 1 assist, 11 rebounds. And we know her and Lauren Betts played together on Team USA this summer, went against each other in practice a whole lot. So a lot of familiarity there, and just 2 dominant post players battling it out, scrapping, physical, battling for every inch. Reese came up big. She also fouled out, and she was chirping on her way out to the UCLA bench. They coach was heated. Not sure what was said, but they definitely, it was some feathers ruffled right there. Anissa Morrow, another player who was getting it in the mid-range. If you put a bigger defender on her, she is going to torch them. She's just too quick off the release, getting off the ground and letting that thing fly. The mid-range was very effective for her. She had 17 points, 1 assist, just 4 rebounds though, but they really depended on her when Angel Reese was in foul trouble. Morrow carried the load along with Flau'Jae Johnson. It was, man, I understand Haley Van Lith, 5 points. She did have 5 assists, but man, it just seems like the team looks better with Laster Poe in there. It doesn't feel like Haley Van Lith is bringing much to the table right now in this tournament. Not to say that can't change, but I'm just saying, just not a whole lot of production, and she's playing a whole lot of minutes. And then, LSU sticks with their top 7, rolling with Alea Del Rosario as well. Looking at it, though, man, this was a really fast-paced up-and-down game, and it obviously, you could see in the third quarter, if you were watching, fatigue was really hindering LSU, but they fought through it, man. Coach Kim Mulkey was hyped, turned up. I'm talking about teed up on the sidelines for this game. LSU is mentally tough, man. They close out games. They make free throws. They make smart plays. They make the clutch plays, the winning plays. And we continue to see this team just fight through the pressure, man. Going to the Elite Eight again. Still defending that national championship. They've been battle tested. They've been called out. They've been questioned. And they have answered every test so far in this NCAA tournament. And this game with UCLA, we knew it was going to be a slobber knocker. We knew it was two high-powered offenses, two proud programs who had sensational seasons this year that did not want to see this season end. Unfortunately, one of them had to lose in this group of death, and one of them is set to, well, now we know LSU is set to face Iowa potentially in a rematch if they get the job done in their matchup. But just a huge win, a lot of heart. This was a gutsy performance for LSU, man. Very, very gutsy performance for them, overcoming a lot of shortcomings in this game. Foul trouble to Angel Reese. Not great point guard play. Turnovers were happening, but they fought through it. They survived UCLA's best punch. UCLA fought to the very end. They had the lead. There were like 14 lead changes in this game. And LSU just continues to play through the noise, man. So congratulations to the Tigers. Moving on to the Elite Eight. They're winning on the court. Off the court, things are a little interesting, and we know the piece was coming out. Coach Kim Mulkey blew the red flag. She drew the red flag, blew the whistle on this article that was coming out from the Washington Post. It was a profile on her, and for me reading it, there was no new information really, nothing that we didn't know that had already been said before. For the most part, there were a couple tidbits that I personally thought were relevant, so we'll talk about that. But overall, I mean, man, I wouldn't even call it a hit piece. There were some positives, there were some negatives. It gave an outlook on how she was raised, her family, her coaching stops, her playing career, just how Kim Mulkey became Kim Mulkey. And then we heard from players as well of hers, and assistants, and just different people that have impacted her and been along the ride in this basketball journey for her. I think the journalist did his due diligence. Like we said, we know this has been 2 years in the making. And, LSU denied just wanting to make a comment towards this situation. So there are some excerpts pulled from the autobiographies of Brittany Griner as well as Kim Mulkey. A lot of things to process, but I don't think this article was worth mentioning, to be honest, for her. I don't think it was as damaging as we were expecting. I thought that this thing was going to blow some stuff up, and it really didn't make that type of impact. So I don't even understand what all the fuss was about, honestly. But, you have the right. It's America. You have the right, your First Amendment, to speak on something. And if you feel like, you've been done a disservice, you got the right to speak up for yourself. So no hate there, but just taking a little deeper look into the article. Now, some excerpts from this thing I understand where the defense came from Mulkey. In this one, she explodes at officials and is suspicious of reporters. Mulkey declined repeated interview requests for this story, and after LSU received an email from the Washington Post seeking comment on various elements of this story, she used 2 NCAA tournament news conferences to take aim at the Post's reporting, threatening legal action in the event of a false story. LSU declined to comment. She is also known to hold grudges and clash with players, including about their appearances and displays of their sexuality. According to interviews with former players and news reports, Mulkey and Brittany Griner, the coach's biggest star at Baylor, have feuded for more than a decade, and while Griner's 294-day detainment in a Russian prison eventually required White House intervention, it wasn't enough to ease tension long after Griner first said Mulkey encouraged gay players to hide their sexuality and keep your business behind closed doors. And that was from Griner's memoir. Kelly Griffin, a former player, Kim Mulkey is an amazing coach. The reason I went to Baylor is because of her. Now, she played for Mulkey from 2007 to 2010 at Baylor. She also says she made my life hell by drawing attention to Griffin's clothes and issuing a suspension that ultimately ended her career. And she believes it started after Mulkey found out she was gay. Then from there, Mulkey's attorneys in letters to the Post denied that Mulkey treated gay players more harshly or differently. They provided an affidavit from former Baylor player Morgan Metlock, who said that she was in a relationship with Griffin and that she never witnessed Mulkey mistreat Griffin or other gay athletes. Former Baylor and LSU player Alexis Morris also put it and more bluntly to ESPN, Coach Mulkey is not homophobic. She also told another gay player, Emily Neiman, apparently, it's not a good look because she was, hanging out with a woman being seen around town with a female in a romantic manner. She said Baylor is the world's largest Baptist university and its policy still prohibits premarital sex and defines marriage as between a man and woman. Mulkey advised Neiman to be careful because the program would be watching. Another guard that complained about Mulkey, talking about her appearance was Baylor's Dee Richards. She hates my different hair colors. Why is your hair purple? Are you going to wear them 2 ponytails? If you would change the color, she'd go, you in these damn colors. The comments came from a place of affection, Richards believes. They could get personal, too, though. Richards says they show how Mulkey pushes players physically and emotionally in pursuit of wins. Mulkey's attorneys describe the comments as good-natured banter, as often happens on and around the court. Griffin, who we mentioned earlier, also said that Mulkey began asking why she dressed like a boy. Baggy jeans, basketball shorts, sweats. A lady, Griffin says the coach told her, wears a dress. Oh, and then she says, okay, this lady might not like gay people, Griffin recalls thinking. Griner also said maybe she would have understood me better if I had shared more with her, but there was always a little bit of disconnect with us because I never really knew if Kim fully accepted me for who I am. This was something that I hadn't heard before. Apparently, they were saying in the article, this was mentioned, Mulkey also called out players if they gained weight, instructed the team's strength coach to conduct weigh-ins in front of the team. According to Griffin and another player, players weren't to bring non-basketball matters to Mulkey. They say encouraged to confide in assistant coaches instead. And Neiman and multiple other players say shame was a frequent tool in Mulkey's coaching arsenal, whether during practice, drills, or in addresses to the team. Some of the former players spoke anonymous because of fears of retaliation in the close-knit women's basketball community. Mulkey did release a couple of statements, though. I know people were complaining that she didn't really speak on the matter dealing with Brittany Griner and her being detained. But she did release a comment. She was being interviewed on a local radio station in Louisiana. Mulkey said, I pray for Brittany. I want her home safely. I think there's lots of people speaking out on her behalf, and those of us who don't necessarily speak publicly about it certainly are praying for her. And then after she was released and traded back to the United States, Mulkey said to ESPN, God is good, prayers are powerful, Brittany is on the way home where she belongs. Our prayers remain with her and her family as they recover and heal together. The article also mentions the estrangement she has from her dad and her sister, her dad's infidelity, her sister and her falling out as well, them not talking for years. But, her pop still comes to the games. And just talked about her time at Louisiana Tech, how she, helped build that program and take it to new heights as a player and a coach, winning national championships, how she begged for the head coaching job, and she wanted a 5-year contract and was only offered 3, so she dipped to Baylor. A lot of this was mentioned. The theme, though, was everybody saying she's a good coach. She pushed them to be better, and, they blossomed under her as players for the most part. Nobody directly came out and said she was homophobic, but we did hear the comments that maybe she don't like gay people. Maybe she feels a certain type of way. She obviously wants her players to have a certain type of presentation and carry themselves in a manner, to a standard that is envisioned by her in this LSU program right now. We're seeing, we've seen players that are on the roster now, Haley Van Lith, Angel Reese, and Nisa Morrow come and speak on behalf of Coach Mulkey, say she's the real deal, and they seem to have genuine love for her. I know another thing that was mentioned is coaches can win championships, but do players want to come back and see you? Do they want to come back and visit and be a part of the program after? Is it really like a bond, a sisterhood, or is it just about getting championships? They're developing basketball players at LSU Mulkey really hasn't been there long enough to have a whole lot of alumni come through, but we did see what happened with Kateri Poole getting, kicked off the team, suspended indefinitely. So, you could take it how you want. There's two sides of the coin. I don't think this necessarily made Coach Kim Mulkey look bad. I do, weight shaming players is wild. Some of the comments that the players are saying that she said to them are pretty wild. I'm not going to lie about their appearances and telling them that women wear dresses. Like, it's just in today's climate. I know that those were some years ago, but in today's climate, it's a lot more sensitive. And you just can't be talking to people like that, man. And the clothes don't make the person. So, I don't think this was even needed to be mentioned by Kim Mulkey, though. She brought so much more attention onto this article that was really kind of irrelevant. Most of us, genuinely in the public, would have flew over it. We know that print journalism is a dying breed right now anyways, and we want that instant click, that instant satisfaction and interaction. So, she being the whistleblower on this article, threatening to sue, really gave it more life and put it on a stage and a pedestal that it probably never would have reached. And then after reading it, like it was supposed to be some bombshell that was going to have ripple effects and maybe overshadow this team's run at the moment or be a distraction. And it was just a bunch of stuff that most people already were aware of and that was public knowledge. So I think it was really gassed. It was a good piece. It didn't really make her look bad or great. It just makes her look like a basketball coach that's stuck in her ways and that's just stubborn, But other than that, I mean, nothing too damaging, nothing earth-shattering, nothing groundbreaking here. I mean, this was just kind of like an update. It felt like a profile. It was a profile, but it was like nothing new. It was a bunch of recycled information for the most part. But I do think the journalist did his due diligence. He did his research. He talked to former players. You know what I'm saying? He examined her timeline from player to coach, her roots in Louisiana growing up, being a star athlete as a child as well. Her family dynamic, her husband leaving. Everything that's going on. Her and Pat Summitt's relationship, Kim Mulkey being nervous about being a head coach and a mom, her, decision to almost walk away from coaching to save her marriage. Those were some tidbits that, were interesting. But overall, I mean, solid piece. I don't think it was a hit piece. I don't think it damages Coach Mulkey's image in any way, in my opinion. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about the comments. Holler at your boy. Let me know, what did y'all dissect from it. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, hey, we out.